tonight. Lost in the afterglow. Oh, girl, your love for me keeps calling me, so I'm calling you. Love, give me like the fire. I long for your company. Oh, girl, your love for me is a part of me, in my biology. Yeah, yeah, it won't be over till the fat lady sings. I owe you a trip, cause me and you, we got a thing. My sunshine state, hair curly like a string. Just a big ol' ooh, smile, that's about all you gotta bring. So enjoy the ride, got some pillows in the Chevy. Ride or die, laying low in the Navy.
Hello, lads and gents, and welcome to Talent League Season 11. Where today we're going to be watching B Esports face against Myth Esports in a battle for that sweet honey and that victory in hand. And we're going to be joined by our co-caster Diana. Speaking of who, how are you doing today?
Hello guys. I sneak my way into a cheeky little Talent League cast. I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing, People Bob?
I'm doing quite fine, feeling energetic. The production got me hyped up today, so I'm hoping to have a fun cast. But we're going to be looking at a very interesting match. We're still not too far into the Talent League season, but we're slowly getting there. This is a BO1 today, so not much is going to be happening. I mean, it's going to be one match, take it or leave it. And yeah, what's your opinion on the teams we're going to be seeing today?
I mean, we're going to be seeing Myth and B, as you already said. So I just want to see what they can perform in game and what map we're going to be going on. And I would just say that we quickly
Most
point
definitely.
our eyes to the map ban, because what map are we actually going to be spectating? We know the two teams, we know it's a best of one, but we need the map. And obviously we already know, but I'm not going to take it away from you guys, not going to lie. Just want to be a little bit cheeky here. Do you want to have the honor to tell us what map we're going on, Pifo?
Okay, since I guess we don't want to spoil it too much, but if we look over at the map bands on our left or right, I don't know because the cameras are turned around and it makes my brain go fuzzy. We're going to be looking at it's going to be Clubhouse. I was personally hoping for Bank. This was a pretty big discussion in the background, but some people wanted Band, some people wanted Clubhouse, whatever it was. Bank would have been better, but we're going to be going into Clubhouse. And do we have confirmation that both teams are ready? Hopefully. Okay. Yeah. Now, both teams are ready. Both teams are ready to go. They're going to do what they must to take this victory because a lot is on the line, although it's not going to be a lot of chances to take it. And yeah, you wanted Clubhouse, I wanted Bank. What's your opinion on the So Given map?
Listen, it's Clubhouse. Everybody knows how to play the map. It shows how good the team play can be. It also shows the little flaws from every team. We're gonna see probably, again, the same mistakes over and over again. We're gonna have to see how the teams are gonna be able to fix those mistakes within the short little rounds. As you said, it is a best of one, but at the end of the day, even though it is a best of one, you want to win it, you want to get those points in, and you just want to be on top. You want to get a little bit of a victory tonight, especially from the side of Myth and B. And Clubhouse is a good start. Why? Because everybody knows how to play this map. So it comes down to the small fundamental and basics of the team itself. Because map-wise, let's be honest, it took us years to figure out a new strat. I'm talking about the SSG strat. We all know before that, there was like years of the same and same and same and same. Now we're in the same period again. It's the same and the same and the same over again. And as we can see, the bands are kind of projecting exactly that. Taking out the Montañas, we're not going to be seeing too many shield pushes. Potentially that there's Blitz still on the board, considering we are a little bit on a shield meta currently, so the shields are overpowered. We may have not seen it too much when it comes in the T4 scene, but especially in Tier 1, we've seen that shields are currently very, very powerful. Ying taking out, a little bit of chaos gone, but we know there's a lot of operators with flashbangs. Now Warden is still up, could potentially be banter, but if Warden is up, that kind of also denies the players over Glass potentially and a few others, but the players have decided to ban out the Mirror and the Fenrir as the last two bans. Now those are the 4 bans, and it's looking pretty spicy, especially with, I think we have 3, I'd say, default bans with the Monty, with the Ying, with the Mira. Those 3 bans are basically from the season becoming very default, but the Fenrir is kind of a, it could have been a different ban, you know? They could have banned a Nazami, considering CCTV and
Yeah.
Cash playing the rafters. They could have banned the Azami for the basement as well, so we can't cover the vertical holes anymore, and so many others. There could have been other ones, but what is your opinion on the Fenrir ban?
Honestly, I'm gonna agree with you till every point with the Mero, with the Ying, with the Monty. They're all normal bans, but I'm also gonna have to take it away from you because I believe Fenrir is one of the more default bans. Definitely could have been better bans. Definitely, I feel like Valkyrie, Azami could have been a bit more, resourceful when it comes to the side of attackers. But again, the Esports, they're right now on attack. They couldn't get the Valkyrie. They would rather take care of the Mero at first. So they maybe want to get the Valkyrie, and they're playing her right now. So that Fenrir is okay. But it could have been different back. Fenrir, even though he got it just a tiny bit, his 2 gadgets are just enough to still deny 2 main entry points and kind of push the enemies back, also give a lot of intel. And just like we're going for that's going to be an early spawn peek, an opening pick onto the side of the Esports, and then starting off strong and aggressive. I mean, not even a slight opportunity was given, and we already have the think off the board, so say goodbye to your nano heals on the side of attack, as I mean, I think it's the best option we could have gone for. It's a lot better than getting the Hibana taking out the Grim, the Thatcher, or the Buck, because they still have utility that's a lot more essential to the side of their, I'll say, execute.
Exactly, you're not wrong there, but also that does push now the Buck and the Grim into a more aggressive position. Now, the entry Fagger is gone. No more Finka, no more potential, a little bit of a buff or boost to get some health back, so that now pushes Grim and the Buck as the 2 entries. So you can see Grim here being very aggressive forward. He understands that now he needs to step in these shoes and make these kills. And with that, another kill happens. That is the trade coming through, taking out the whole mine. A little bit of an essential operator, considering his gadget reloads over time, and it is an active gadget. Now, this is gone for this round, but we still have what I would consider the 3 rather more important and essential operators, with the Tubaru making sure these hatches stay close, especially when there's an Hibana on board. That can waste a lot of time away from these attackers. But also the 2 C4s from the Valkyrie and from the Kaid. We have Valkyrie cameras, potential vertical gameplay. Gonna have to be careful here when we're the Buck and the Grim. Again, they're gonna be stepping forward. They're gonna be making the first moves. We just need to make sure we don't die to C4. And we get these hatches open pretty quickly, because already 1 minute and 10 seconds left.
1 minute and 10 on the clock, and yeah, I mean, hatches, they're gonna need to get open quickly. That's why we have the Thatcher, but the Tubarao will be an issue, a very decent issue, would I say. Not only that, but Kate is still in action. I mean, Dolman Taz getting taken out, it's a man down. Of course, you don't want that. And just like Choco took out Chris, as of right now, making it a 4v3, that C4, instead they need to watch out for them. They didn't take your word for it, and look at where they are now. Esports looking at a man disadvantage as we're slowly ticking down towards the execute. These hatches are slowly getting open, but are they getting open enough? Just like Heaven opened, Sunzi's had right split clean. With that, I mean, we're down to a 4v2. Now, this is getting very hyped up. This is getting very quick because, I mean, defenders, they're not only pushing attackers back and making them uncomfortable with every move they make, they're also at the same time getting rid of these enemies. I mean, they're just slowly picking them apart in 1v1 situations. Just as I mentioned, the MPX comes out and another player goes off of the Esports, leaving MG completely alone, and up comes the push from Ares, finishing the job, and we almost got a flawless. Not quite, it was a 4v1 at the end, but quite enough to be considered some sort of minor flawless for the side of Myth. And they're starting off not only strong, but very dominant.
Dominant in the way, they've just gotten the victory in that round. And as we saw also in chat, there's going on a little bit of an FPS bug. So going to have to wait here a little bit. Have to apologize, guys. Gonna have to wait on the last player joining in. But we can use this time to talk about this last round. Now, we're starting off pretty strong, as you said, taking out the first operator. Spawn kill could have been prevented with a cam, could have been pre-fired. You know, we could have been a little bit more careful when it comes to spawning in. Again, it's Clubhouse. You gotta expect these things. You gotta make sure you're prepared for a spawn pick in every single manner. And because the map is so old, you know, every single spawn kill that is possible to happen. Now, you can either prevent that with a few cameras, or you can just pre-fire it, or you can just be a little bit more careful. Now, losing the first operator was a thinker. Okay, we can argue around. It's fine. Getting the trade-off in the first few seconds, also great. But then taking so much time because we've lost 2 drones, because we've lost a player to push, we need to step back and play a little bit slower from the side of the attacking team, which then ended up the time not being enough. Tuberi being on the board, Kaid being on the board, as you said, and then C4 kills coming in. A little bit of a rough start for the attack.
Yeah, most definitely. You named it. I mean, Clubhouse is a default map. It's played throughout the entirety of competitive and siege, and it's well known by everyone. The strategies are just put into your hull the second you boot up the game. But the thing is, that's what also makes players so dangerous. You know, they can spawn peek constantly, and that should be expected. I mean, spawn peek should be pre-fired. A drone should be set. Instead of picking it up and placing it right below your feet as you spawn, maybe place it looking at the door, at the window, just to check for any cheeky spawn peeks, or at least, head check if you need to, because that Finka, she just ran in. No care in the world. She was hopping around. No, completely happy with her nano boost. She was ready to get into action, but yeah, that wasn't going to be happening for much longer. And with that, I mean, Myth, very dominant. They mostly won all of their gunfights. The only one they didn't was, again, Wamai sneaking up onto Garage. He was expected this time around. He wasn't going to get away with a double kill in that round, and they managed to shut him out. But besides that, they played carefully, they peaked at the right time, and unexpected enough just to take out the remainders of BE Sports. And yeah, overall, a quick round, very good. At the end, also a bit of time waste coming from BE Sports. They could have, or should have at least, gone to the hatches a lot faster. Also, the defense doesn't have a solace. Pre-plays drones around the entire map just to, instead of having to clear the 3rd floor and, check if anyone's actually there, you can pre-close the drones on stairs and check for yourself. But overall, BE Sports, very weak start, but it's only round first. We actually need to get, this was just an experimental round. We need to actually see how these players adapt to each other's gameplay.
Exactly. As I do like to say, especially when it comes to the side of T4 games, T3 games, a lot of teams that might not know each other. It's a whole different new thing when we look at Tier 1, right? These players have played against each other, have played with each other, they know each other. So at that point, you can't really say they have to get to know each other. But when we look at T4, there's so many teams, so many new building teams. Players might know each other, but also might not. So the first 2 rounds, and as I like to say this, the first 2 rounds is kind of get to know each other, understand, is the enemy team playing it more aggressive, more passive? What can we expect from them? The spawn peak definitely shows that they want to be forward, they want to be a little more aggressive, they want to be really in there. We can see that within the next few rounds, potentially from the side of Myth Esports, but also for BE Esports, it's like, okay, first round, aggressive, spawn peak, what can we do to prevent that? We can play a little bit slow, place the pre-plays, can't, right? Pre-fire, as you said, be a little bit more careful when it comes to the spawning in. The side of Myth Esports, we've set a tone a little bit, right? Done the spawn peak, won the round quite aggressively. Moving forward with the next round, they can do the same thing. As we can see now, they're reinforcing CCTV, meaning they're going to be playing cash, they're going to be playing forward, they're going to be playing for those kills to waste time. And it's up to BE Sports to get a good sense of it and then get rid of the players, understand what push are we going for. Are we going to go for the main take when it comes to cash? But if we do go for the main take in cash, you're going to have to expect it. You're going to have to play against it. And how quickly can we be to take out these players from Myth? Because the longer they stay there, the more times cost us to get rid of these players. The less time we have to plan and execute.
Very true. You gotta be quick about droning, about taking area, about everything you do. You don't want to waste time, because time is quite essential on the attacking side, because, once you get the diffuser down, it turns on the defenders, which is great, but you gotta get to that point. You gotta get that execute just nicely through, so you can actually chill back a bit and watch the defenders struggle as they go for that defuse, and, having to take you out at the same time. Now, this preparation, we're already seeing a bit more early, taking those balcony windows out, just so you can apply some early pressure. But Myth, again, displaying this high style of aggression, and just like that, dominates with another round. A 1 a 2. He doesn't need it because that one tap is going to be the TCHG taking out the first player. Again, it's going to be Galenus. The second time, the second round, just absolutely taken out the Finca. Galenus off the board, and with that, not only is it going to be style, I mean, that one tap was honestly brutal. At the same time, Myth Esports, they get the opening pick, they get the man advantage, and of course, they get that aggression shown out to them. Even though Galenus, I mean, he was shooting at the Wamai. He was shooting at the same time at, or not the Wamai, he was shooting at Dominatas, and while though he just got absolutely outplayed. Now, we are seeing a lot of time wastage from the Esports. I mean, they're going for that main breach, they're getting banditry, they're getting denied anywhere they go, and they're being over-pressurized from the side of defense.
Yeah, as I said, just time is going down, slow but steady. Last minute and 15 seconds left. There's a Tuber, there's a Bandit, there's a Kate, so those breaches to open them is gonna be really, really tough. We might have to do hard breaches, but so much denial is actually just gonna make it really difficult. On top of that, we don't have any gadget besides fetch EMPs to deal with those. No nades, no ash charges, no finger charges, right? Nothing that could potentially destroy these things and make it easier for the attack to open it. So they're gonna have to deal with it, they're gonna have to wait out. Now, Tubery used his gadget on the main breach. Now we know for a fact he's not going to be using it in other places, but if we look at it, 40 seconds left on the clock, we haven't really opened up anything or gathered even control in space within the map. We've gotten the main stairs, we've gotten a kill to trade it off. And now with that 30 seconds left in the round, and it's slowly but steady going down.
Slowly but steady going down. That's going to be a 3v2. Nomad Taz getting another one. The Grim Bees are coming out. Now down to the last 20 seconds. Shots are fired. It's a 3v3. Grim and Thatcher, or by mistake, Grim and Thermite are completely cornered. The Bailiff comes out. He starts shooting up to the bathroom. As soon as he gets one, that's Aura off the board. Gets refragged by Joko. And now it's on to the 2v1. I mean, Thermite's in the corner. He needs to go for the plant. Pulls out the pistol, and Joko will be finishing the job. UMP 45 in hand, and with barely a nick of HP left, you will be getting the first round. Actually, not the first round. That's going to be the second round for Myth Esports, and that's going to be a very good start, and also ending it a bit more poorly. But of course, with the aggression they've been showing towards the early round, they've been kind of able to consistently keep it out throughout the match. We saw Bandit, you know, in Logic, he was just kind of sneaking around. He was ready to sneak up on anyone, hoping the drone didn't spot him. But B Esports, they took advantage of that completely. They shot him down. They started infiltrating, just rushing through the main breach, going into Logic. It was a full-blown on attack, but at the end, it didn't really matter that much because with these folks shut it down, they managed to kind of keep this man advantage. You know, it was a 4v3, then it was a 3v2, and then at the end, it was a 2v1, which, of course, it was very close, some may say, but at the end, it wasn't close enough. And Myth, I mean, they have been portraying this amount of aggression since the very start, since we even got into the match. I mean, Dominant has spawn peek, then the next opening kill is also his, with that very nice chef's kiss of a one tap. Now, B Esports, again, I'm starting to see this pattern. They don't have a very good early run. At the end, they kind of managed to, you know, start backing it up. But at the start, it's definitely not it.
That's very true, and I'm afraid that we might see here another spawn because we can see Dom is preparing this window, just waiting for his spray. He's gonna shoot it, but he's gonna be punished immediately. This time around, they have prepared for the spawn peek and then made sure that they look at these spawn peek windows and doors. Now that is the Bandit gone. Obviously, his gadget has been already been placed down. Could have been a C4 late in the round. Could have potentially denied a plan. So still a little bit of a gadget loss here. But now in the 4v5, they set themselves up for a good early round. You've kind of just cursed them, right? You just said the early rounds may not have been as nice. Now they've been presented with a kill, and now that puts them in a good early round because they have the man advantage. Breach about to be open as well. Not quite there. Obviously, they're gonna have to be fighting against the Tubaru, the Kaid as well. But with Thatcher, let's be honest, all we need to do is just get these Thatchers in. But just my main question is, why are they not bringing a Maverick even though they know the Tubaru is being built every single round so far?
Ooh, that's a very good point. I mean, Maverick is also one of the more, I would say, common bans on Clubhouse, especially because of CCN hatches, and the fact that they're not utilizing him even though they did end up getting the breach, it would maybe even save time, you know, deny the Tuber out from peeking out and throwing that utility. It would definitely help out with time saving, but again, it does force out an operator pick, which may confuse their lineup, may confuse that Twitch pick, you know. They're focusing a lot of it onto main breach, and just like that, you know, Deli gets the opening kill. Won't be the Twitch he's going to be getting taken out, but it's going to be Chris. The IQ is off the board. But look at the lineup on the attack. They have a Twitch, they have a Thatcher, they have an IQ to go below. And maybe even some nades on one of these operators, but it's mostly could have just been prevented with a simple Maverick. Like you said, Diana, it could have definitely been overpassed, maybe switch out that IQ, maybe switch out that Twitch if not needed. But whatever it is, they got the main breach. They got themselves back some sort of man advantage. MD peeking out. He's going to be getting himself a double kill. 2v4, they're in sight. Now Raptors is completely stuck on its own. So is Red. Starting to just zone them out completely. All they need is a plan. That's going to be MD with the triple. A third kill going on to Legion on Red. Now it's a 1v3. We're looking at not a lot of HP, as Sunzi will be finishing the job, jumping into window with a very nice pre-fire. And just like that, we're going to be finishing round number 3. Okay. You know, B managed to back it up a bit more. B are now nicely paused in. You said first 2 rounds are experimenting, and B, they have got their formula down.
Exactly, but 3 rounds are now gone, so potentially Myth Esports can go back downstairs. That was where they got the first victory, where they presented themselves as an aggressive team. Now, with the last round, it was CCTV and Cash, and let's be honest, if we look at Clubhouse, that side,
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
is having a rough time, especially with all the new operators, for all the new changes. CCTV and Cash has been really, really rough to defend recently.
Yeah.
Considering everything that has been changed, B Esports, they really needed to win that round. If they would have lost that round, they would have positioned themselves on a 3-0, and that would have been 3-round rotation, completely win for Myth, and it would have not been looking too good. Now they took this one victory, could potentially win this round. All they need to do is not get spawn picked, right? They've denied the first spawn pick within the first 3 rounds. They've gotten 1 out of 3 that have been presented. They need to keep this going, and also roam clear. As you said, the early games can be a little bit weak, can be a little bit slow. The early games need to be quicker. How quick can we do the roam clearing? How quick can we open up these hatches? Because yet again, the Tuber is on the board, the Kaid as well, and they should be knowing this because Myth, every single round so far, they've brought a Tuber. And here again, the adaptation is coming through with few operators. But a simple Maverick would do the job, especially for the church hatch.
Yeah. Well, definitely a Maverick could save him not only time, but also kind of, you know, save a bit of utility, you know, maybe switch out a character every now and then, maybe switch out some gadgets, just use them for the execute, or maybe just mids to start round clears. It definitely could help out, but, you know, they have their strategy. We gotta let them put it to use. And also another thing, you know, B Esports, they definitely have had these weak rounds. They definitely had a very rough start every now and then, but what I've been also noticing, I mean, all 3 rounds, besides the first one, which they just got completely pushed back, is B Esports, they deliver the sting at once. You know, in the second round, they started pushing in. The second they got the opportunity, they got the opening kill, and then they just completely rushed in. No hesitation. Second round as well. Or third round, my mistake. This is the first round they won. MD, he got that first kill. He got the second. He completely cleared out sight, then peeked out onto Red Jet the Legion, and all of a sudden it's a 4v1 situation. And that was, I mean, extremely quick. He got the opening pick. Gallon is as well right now starting it off with opening. B starting out a lot better than they were before. That's going to be the Valkyrie. She has deployed her cams, but, you know, that C4 could have definitely been useful.
Been, and now it's gone, but the cams will still provide a lot of information. And there's still a C4 from the Kaid that can be used for a potential kill. So it's still not all gone, but one thing that is going down slowly but steady is the time. 1 minute and 10 yet again. We may have gotten a few hatch with Mega and a little bit of control. We also need to plan the execute, and that is the tricky part. Last time we were attacking this, it did not quite look too bright on the execute side. And now we need to do it again. What are we going for? Are we going to go for a church or an arsenal take? Now the kitchen hatch is open as we can see, but this Azami is going to make it really difficult for it to drop and even get a few picks from the hatch. We need to potentially change our focus here to the other side. Look towards catch, look towards church,
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
and find a way to get in there. Blue is a good take because you're already taking control of that, as we have also the first one to be injured. Was out of B, and I believe that was a bit of verticality.
bit of verticality indeed. Choco does manage to finish the job. Gallon is off the board. MD following it up, a trade onto Oriz. As again, Chris will be joining 6 foot under. Now he's down, not completely out. He gets rest, but the verticality still has. On Dom and Taz killing out Susie. That's going to be a double kill from MD. He's going to be continuing that parade as the Azam is going to be downing one, gets the second. Heaven manages to clutch it up as Dom and Taz joining along with him, both getting a double kill and very nicely just finishing it all, straight lining it, flatlining the entire enemy team. And we're going to be going Myth back to their victory, back to their glory as they get themselves the third round, which means, when they go to that half round split or half match split, they're not going to be looking at a negative. They can't be down 2-4 or 1-5 or 0-6. It can only be 3-3. Or when they're going on attack, they can maybe even have a 4-2, 5-1, 6-0 for themselves. Now that round, just again, I mean, B tried it all at once. Dianic, I'm seeing this constant repetition of B, they wait for the final 10, 15 seconds, and that's where they all just send it, but I think a 50-50, don't you think?
It's difficult to say, right? Because we had for a very long time, we had a 20-second meta. For a very long time, we were used to seeing teams pushing in the last 20 seconds. Then we had a few different metas coming through. We've seen teams now executing way early at the 1 minute mark, 2 minute mark. Depending on where they see an opening, they'll do an execute, right? It has changed quite a bit, but one thing that hasn't really changed about Clubhouse is that even though you execute within the last 20 seconds, it can still work. But one thing that makes the difference, or makes it make or break scenario in the last 20 seconds, is the prep you've done before. And the prep we see from the Esports so far is not up to the standard as we would need it from their side in order to be able to do a successful 20 seconds execute. We saw right there the Azami Kiba burst in the last round made it really difficult to get line of sight, to even drop off sight, because they'll see your feeds first and they will have an advantage when it comes to the angles. We can prevent that with the depending operators we pick, the variety in operators we pick, and just looking forward within the next rounds. Now, if we look at this round, here yet again, we have adaptations coming through. First time we're seeing a floor is being built, but other than that, we've seen all of these operators. And here again, Tuber is on the board, Kaede on the board, Bandits on the board. All they have to do is waste the time, and that's what we've been doing so well so far. And this is what's hurting B Esports even further, because there is, again, a simple Maverick, and the breaches will be open. Yes, we will have to struggle with C4s, but the Maverick would do the job. And everything that Myth Esports is doing here is wasting time, and it's working out perfectly if you look at the scoreline.
Yeah. But as well, I mean, Maverick, he doesn't necessarily also have to breach. Even if he dies in the process or in the middle of getting that hole open halfway through, you still create some sort of line or some sort of sight that cuts off rotation either way, as long as an attacker is, looking at it. It's going to be difficult for them to enter through it, but at the same time, at the end, the majority would say that, it's kind of this rotation that you want to cut off, but at the same time, you may also want to go through that breach at the end. The breach does come off on the side of Jacuzzi. Now, Myth, they're looking a bit troubled. They have used all the Tubarao gadgets, which is fantastic. They've wasted great time. The bandit tricking on the side of CC and Cash was also quite, just in general, got them to save up a bit. Now, C4 is coming out below on Logi. We saw Delo right now. We saw him earlier, crouching in Logi. He got droned out, didn't work out too well. That's what also initiated B Esports to get aggressive all of a sudden. But with that, I mean, now he's going to be switching it up a bit. MD as well, switching it up. He's not going to be letting Mid get the opening picks. He's going to be doing it himself. But he has been very dominant and very consistent through the 3 rounds we've been through previously. And now we're on the balconies. The double kill comes out from Myth Esports. We're down to a 4v3. Jumping into Jim. That's going to be Aurus taking heavy damage. But Heaven getting taken out himself. Soon's joining the parade. That's going to be a 2v2 situation going on. Now, side is overtaken, but we still have that C4. It's not going to help out too much since he's placed in Logic. Empty getting himself the second. 10 seconds on the clock. Now they need to get in. Okay, still has that TCSG. He tried going for a C4. It won't be working out, and the plan is slowly going down. Now he needs to approach them. He needs to know where they are. He needs to get that info. Pushes through the bees, but soon he will be knowing where he is. And with that, pulling out that 552 commando, finishing the job and getting B Sports the second round. And now we're 1 round away from that half match split.
In that 2v2, a lot of things could have been different, but the one key point I think all of us saw is both the players from Myth Esports were really close together, which was essentially really, really important. But then the Kaid went down to do a C4, which, if you look at it theoretically, is not a bad take. You want to go downstairs, you want to pre-place a C4, walk up and help your teammates. But you gave away the entire support from your teammate doing that in the last 10 seconds. As you said, last 15 seconds, you can either choose, am I going to go downstairs, place a C4, or am I going to help my teammate? In that position, he chose to go downstairs. Why was that so round deciding? Because his teammate died in the process. After that, lost complete side control. There's one spot, as we saw, planting close to the gold rotation, where the C4 cannot hit you. And you're leaving your teammate in a 1v2 scenario that could have been a little bit more support, that could have been the support from the Kaid holding one angle and just making sure Bennett can focus on one side. Because what happened, Bennett simply got pinched from two sides and wasn't able to take both gunfights.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, you know, going for a C4, not the worst idea. But overall, you do want to make sure it's a 2v2. You do want to make sure to at least get a refrag if your teammate goes down. So then the planter or the final player in that situation either has to go for a plant or bait you out with it. And with a we have 5 seconds on the clock. That would have been very difficult to do. So Cade, at that point, could have went for a better solution, most definitely. But B Esports, you know, they got that gamble. They managed to win it. And again, at the end, it came down to that rush, that 20-second. And they managed to get it from themselves. They yoinked it off the floor, you know, put it in the right pocket, and joining with the third round, they got for themselves as well. They're down to a 3-2 score. Now, I mean, Myth, they're still looking comfortable, although they are on defense, which, of course, this map is played a lot. Everyone knows how to attack, everyone knows how to defense, but I would personally say that people will prefer defending. Since you're cozy inside, you know, you don't need to come to the defenders, but the attackers can come right into your arms, and that's a lot easier of a concept to go through. Now, as we're going through it, I mean, again, not a Thatcher inside, not anything on the verge of actually getting this breach done, because we, again, have Thatcher, or not Thatcher, we have Tuberal, we have Cade, we have the same trick going on, and with how it's been going, I mean, I'm assuming the outcome is going to be very similar. We're going to be down to the last 40 seconds or so, and that's when actually things are going to get a bit more heated.
Within the heat, there can also be a few mistakes. For example, the last round now, we have taken the control of CCTV and Cash, applying pressure now towards side. Breach is also going to be open, so slowly but steady, Esports is opening up these sides, creating pressure from multiple directions. How can Myth Esports hold up here? Because all we need to do is waste the time and then pick off the kills one by one as the next few trades coming through. All of a sudden we find ourselves on site, but it just wasn't enough control to deal with it as the jump out happens. And we find ourselves in a 1v4 as Black is outside, picking up at least one. But the last few three is not going to be quite enough, and that is Myth Esports getting the default 4-2 swap.
4-2 swap would have been preferred, especially when they're going on attack right now. You know, it's going to be maybe a bit more difficult. Maybe we're going to be, hopefully, and I'm crossing my fingers for this one, seeing that Maverick. But, you know, we can't be sure.
Hey!
I mean, there it is. Choco, my man. He's hearing us out. You know, I'm happy to see that. And we're also seeing a complete switch of lineups. What happened? It's like these teams completely play in a yin-yang situation. They're completely different from one another. On the attacking, we have new additions. We have the Ram. We have not seen her before. We have seen the Esports bring out a lot more of that default buck. You know, they stick to the classics. They don't want to switch to these new gens, whatever it may be called. But they're
Gen Z.
the Gen Z strategy. But yeah, I mean, we have the Grim. Okay, he's coming back. But Davids, Dokkaby, and Ram. Okay, just switched off the Maverick. You know what? I'm not happy anymore.
Have they just taken away your smile? Is this Are you gonna file a complaint letter now to Myth Esports?
I'm gonna cry myself to sleep.
Oh no, dear Lord, don't do that. Well, as the Maverick is gone and the hopes for this round, we're finding ourselves on the basement spot where it is valid to not bring a Maverick, so it's okay. Maybe we'll see a few more. The intention is there. They're hearing us. You just need to wait for the next round, okay? We'll just bring you through this round, okay? And next round, I'm pretty sure they'll bring a Maverick, and you'll have the smile on your face. Now, looking forward to this round, we can see a few things are different, but the one thing that never changes are the kills that are happening, as Heaven is now taken out the Warden, and yet again, Galan is the opening pick. It's the third time in a row now that he's the first one to die from the side of Esports.
Poor man. He wanted to get back at, Domantas just spawn peeking him like 2 rounds in a row, but he couldn't even manage to pull it out with that. And with that, Vern's going to be off the board, so any flashes coming in, we don't have an operator to counter those. We have hatches already open. It's 2 minutes on the clock. With the progression from Myth is extremely fast. They got the opening kill again, but now they're on attack, so it makes a bit more sense. They also have some hatches open. They have map control. They have Domataz off the board, who went into dirt, challenged the SMG11, but won't be getting away with that W in his hand. And then was, an operator that brings out that 1v1 situation, makes it a bit of a game mode of his own, takes that team effort away, can also be used as sort of a jackal, but, was processed or thought out to be a 1v1 situation. Chris right now, he's coming up, he's sneaking up, gets a 1 for himself, Choker off the board, no Nomad to help him out. He was droning out, he was playing his Clash of Clans in the background, just enjoying himself, but Solus won't be allowing it for much longer.
Well, get off the Clash of Clans and focus on Rainbow Six Siege. That was a little bit of a tough call. Now that is the B-man, the Grim also gone now in a 3v4 scenario. It's not looking too good to the side of Myth Esports. They have the hatches open, they have the verticality open. Theoretically speaking, they have everything they need besides a man advantage. That's not fallen off, as we can see now, also trying to take a little bit control of dirt, as we have the verticality, as we have bottom main. Those are all the things we need for success on a push. But MD is going to close up with another kill, making it a 2v4 back down and a 2v4. 40 seconds left, enough time to get this kill, but the long range TTSG is just going to make it so difficult as the kills happen one by one, and B Esports get the first defensive win on the basement spot.
Very good. They're managing to kind of hold their strong points now, especially they're on defense. On attack, they seemed a lot more passive in the early rounds and certainly didn't transfer on to now, seeming as, poor good old Gallons wanted to go for that spawn peak, not getting the good part of it, but they kept on that passive, defensive total strategy towards the end and managed to, just not kind of even let an attacker get into sight. They completely flushed them all out, and with that, a very nice good round, just kind of getting closer to that even 4-4 score. But will they be able to keep it up? They're going to Gym. Of course, this is another site which could be very relevant off of my area control, especially CC, Cash, Construction, and Logi. That entire site, and of course the main breach on Jacuzzi is also very important. But with that, I just want to mention something. We've been seeing this a lot. We also can respect the castle. But we have a Bandit. We don't have a K. We don't have a Tubarao. Is there a plan to just turtle in sight instead of kind of wasting time? Like I said earlier, it's an in-game situation. They've taken complete control of the entire area, whatever they can utilize, and then they just waste time. With all the gadgets they can, they throw it out and then go for gunfights at the end. B Esports, they're going for gunfights, or they're going to be saving those gadgets towards the execute on the attack.
Very difficult directions is what we're getting here from B Esports. They have the roam potential, they have the bunker potential, but here yet again, just old operators. Exactly what I mean, like old school operators, bring it on the board. Yes, the newest one is Solus and Azami, but if you look at it, no Tubarao, as you mentioned, not really as, okay, we're gonna bunker it down, we're gonna keep these walls closed. A little bit more loose, but on top of that, Myth Esports is bringing the Maverick, is bringing the Ace, is bringing the Hibana, is bringing the Thermite. There's 4 hard breachers. Every single hard breacher in the game is currently in this round. And on top of that, we have a Dokkaebi who's gonna call you, who's gonna be annoying, and who has the EMPs. So their main objective here is to open up everything and every single wall.
Every single wall. Just like that. They're going to breach side below, they're going to breach side above, the ceiling is going to be theirs, the windows are going to be theirs, you name it. They have the power to do it, but they don't have too much utility to actually help out if anyone's going to be denying it. B Esports actually went for that Tubarao Arcade Bandit option. I don't think they would have been breaching anything. I mean, it would have been basically impossible since you have the impact EMPs from Dokkaebi. You have 2 of them. You mess those up or you get tricked or to out against them, or while they're in use, it's over. You do not get a single breach, and that's the issue with it. At least with the main breach and such like that. So, you know, the execute's definitely going to be harder. But Heaven, you know, getting one, Dom and Taz getting another, that's going to be a nice opening 2 kills for the side of Myth Esports. Starting it off strong. You know, they got the breaches, they got that Maverick. Oh, I love to see it. And they have some time left. They have opened everything. They have gained a lot of control, put a lot of pressure, and also gained that man advantage. So, and they also, as attackers, have better frag power. So, with the time they have, I mean, they're chilling. They're good.
They are indeed. As we can see, they've gained also quite a lot of control, as you mentioned. No, this definitely benefits them. As we can see, B Esports are trying fighting back a little bit, but each time they're just being picked off one by one. Now, when everything is open up, you can never really hide anywhere. No, you left your teammate in a 1v4 within the last 30 seconds in the round, and this just is a recipe of disasters. We do pick up 1, but it's 3 more to go, and with 4 HP, it's not going to be enough for Smith Esports. While bringing every single hard breach operator in the game, opening up every single wall, left, right, center, above and below, they're also going to take out the operators and the enemies one by one, positioning themselves 1 round away from the match point. It is a best of 1 again. If you win, you get a few points, and you really want to make it count. And this is why we wanted, this is why I wanted Clubhouse. Because the team play, what is the team play we've been seeing from Myth Esports so far? Look back at the Maverick. Okay, we have the information from somebody standing in this corner. What we're gonna do, you hold it, I make a hold, you shoot. Perfectly, getting off a kill. The other person holding the cross, the third person creating even more pressure on site, making sure these enemies, they need to be walking around, they need to change positions. And all the teammates have to do is pick them off one by one.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Myth, with how they've been attacking, they also kind of, just like you said, I mean, we have one player kind of rearranging the defenders to put them in their positions. Just so Myth, the rest of the team, the 4 players who are going to be, you know, fragging out, can go to those positions, get themselves those man advantage gunfights. Like, most of these gunfights, I mean, it seemed like a 3v1 constantly. Anyone in Logi, anyone inside, anyone who got picked off towards the end, it was always the majority of players that was towards the minority, which was Myth versus Esports, and with that, they get themselves these 1v1 or even 4v2 situations that just really, it's hard to lose them, to be honest. And I mean, Myth, yeah, 1 round away from match point, absolutely stunning, absolutely great. But the Esports are not going to be, they're not going to be giving up so soon. Hopefully, they still have some sort of, you know, card up their sleeve, maybe a trump card for themselves. But also, we do see the Tabura, thankfully. We actually see a bit of adaptation from B Esports, you know. It's full breach again. Jesus Christ, we have Thermite, Hibana, Ace, and Maverick. You cannot go for more breaches in this game. Besides, like, maybe a buck with hard breaches. That would be, if they managed to pull that off, I would be screaming. But still, they've actually, the 2 hours, all of it is just coming in handy for B Esports, and they're not going to be allowing Myth to get any further than from the outside or maybe a breach or 2.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
The thing the time is we can see 1 minute and 55. Why am I mentioning here the time? Because at this time they've had more breaches open than B Esports on that side, and also they've now picked up a kill, but not quite favoring them. As Smith Esports, ours is gonna have to say bye-bye for this round. For those are the Dokkaebi colds gone, those are the 2 EMP grenades also gone. But if you look at it from the other side, we have 4 hard breachers. Every single wall is gonna be opened eventually. Fine, we don't have DMPs. We don't care. We're just gonna open it up with Maverick. Gonna make a hole. Gonna shoot out the Kaid or the Beneditrix. Or the Bandit. Gosh, I forgot the name.
Batteries?
Batteries. There we go. Jesus. How did that just completely slipped through my mind?
Honestly, I can't blame you with what T4 and these types of team loadouts do to man. It's absolutely just stunning. I mean, with 4 hard breaches is something I've never seen, and I didn't think I would ever see it. And another thing I'm not seeing right is a 4v5 situation for B Sports anymore. Choke will be putting it down there. He gets traded out. That's going to be Spoonsy with one. Chris joining him along. And another one coming out from that MPX. Absolute monstrosity. 1v4 brought onto Mythic Sports within seconds. The wallbang comes out from Domentaz, but Chris will be there to avenge him any second, any time of the day. And there it comes. That SMG11 has been absolutely dominant. The MPX and SMG11 have been popping up constantly on the kill board feed. And with that, B Sports, they get themselves another one. Now it's a 5v4. Now with Esports, they, like we said, it's not like this match is completely unimportant. It is a bit more early stages, but of course, those points matter. Those points really do. And Myth Esports, you're one round away from that pressure point. You're one round away from that match point. A 6-4 right now would be looking pretty great. But, even if they get their breaches, even if they get some sort of map control, they're seemingly to they're kind of pushing down that aggression they've been using earlier, because it's been working perfectly against the Esports. Even if it, you can't spawn peek as an attacker, that's obvious, but you can still get these I guess I'll say unhinged gunfights in that they've been very heavily leading through. Even though B Sports has been coming to them when they are on the defense, they have been shutting them down majority of the time. Now, what again happened right now, the previous round, just that triple kill coming out of complete nowhere. They got a good trades, but then it all just got shut down. It's seeming like, B Sports, they work off of this one function. If kill happens, B Sports goes into action. And that's what they've been going off of, and it's been working quite well for them, especially on the defensive side.
Exactly, we've seen it on the attacking side that they've been doing the same. Now on the defense, they're following still that pattern. It's working out, but on the other hand, it can bite back. Again, they are in the round disadvantage. Even though they've won the last round and they fight it back, they're not gonna go down as easily. It has been looking so far. It can bite back. It is a good strat to have. Okay, we're just gonna play it slow. As soon as the kill happens, we're gonna explode. But the more we push that back, the more the kill is the reason if we win a round or not. It's a little bit tricky, right? Because as soon as a kill happens against them, right, as soon as one of their player dies and they are in the man disadvantage, it could overflow and Myth Esports could just walk away with a cheeky little win there. Now again, Myth Esports, they need one win to be here on the match point to potentially then close out the map pretty easily. This clubhouse at the end of the day. Everybody knows how to play this, everybody knows the strat around it, and every single strat has a weakness, and they should know how to play against it. Now, knowing that B Esports, they are doing adaptations, but they're focusing on the kill sides a little bit more than on the actual stratting, where Myth Esports, if you look at it, from the defense and the attacking side, if they want something, they'll get it. They want the breach to stay closed, the breaches stay closed. If they want to have the breaches open, the breaches are going to be open. They'll bring everything they want for that to happen. And we can see the same thing in their current lineup. That lineup says exactly what they're going to do and what push they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, Myth Esports, they bring 4 hard breachers, they bring 4 breach denials, whatever they have to do to complete their objective, while B Esports, they're a bit more conservative. They want to keep maybe a smoke for time waste, kind of these plan Bs and Cs, just in case something goes wrong. And the first thing to go wrong is going to be Gallon getting a kill on Tora. Is a bad start for Myth Esports, especially since most of the time the person who gets the opening pick is the person who gets a bit of an easier time. Now it's a 4v5. We're going to the last minute. This is where it's all coming down. Sunzi getting an opening kill onto that. That's going to be a C4 from MD. Choco managing to trade it out for Black Wolf, but Chris will be there to take out Choco. Just as that happens, a 1v4 is brought onto Delhi, and he's completely left alone on main stairs. I mean, he is being held by the hand of his fallen teammate, but MD won't be allowing it much further. That Soul taking TCSG shot will be delivering the final blow, and B Esports are going to be managing to even out the score. Now we're down to a 5-5. This is a very important round, Dianic. This is where the first team who gets this round, I mean, the first one to get to a 6-5 score, has a chance at winning, while the opposing team, they kind of have to win that round to even continue going into overtime.
Ooh la la. We have a duck being brought. Well, why am I so fussed about it, right?
Defenders, protect your bomb.
Let's be honest. We haven't seen Doc being played as much. We haven't seen Doc being brought and competitive as much. So where are they going to be positioning Doc here? Well, there's one spot that comes to my mind, and that is Raffles. Why?
Yep.
Because of capital bolts, because you're gonna be giving this dog key barbarians, we potentially could be seeing a double stack on the Raptors with Azami and dog, because there's no more mine. It hurts a little bit because we know, as we know, there is a capital on the board. We kind of assume, especially when it goes to CCTV and cash, there's going to be somewhat of a tilt being brought for the Raptors, or just to get rid, because there's so many spots you want to get rid of. And just make sure that the enemies move around and get a kill. But the dog could be playing around there, could be just causing so much damage from down below, because he has a long range weapon. He can take those tight, long angles and challenge these attackers. But again, if you look at the lineup from Mid Esports, it's pretty much determined what they want to have. They want to have the breach open. They brought the Maverick. They brought the Dope with flashbangs. And they had bought the Maverick with flashbangs. So those are 2 sets of flashbangs, 6 each, and no more than... Oh, we're gonna see a lot of white screens here.
Yeah, well, definitely. Our eyes are going to be burning up until the end of this cast. I mean, we're also seeing a possible Maverick trick, which hasn't been seen by me in quite a while. Now, Tuberal and K, they're focusing on the side of construction. That single wall can also be quite deadly, since it leads to the outside, directly to the room right next to the main site. And with that, I mean, main breach is open. CC and Cash, those rotations are going to be very hard to pull off, and whoever's on Raptors either has to take the long way, going through Garrett Red to get to the site, or has to take the risky way. Another risky thing right now is being done by Oris, pushing up to the Solas, but managed to get that trade that empty created. Chris dropping down, you know, he's going to be getting taken off the board, and with that, we have construction. We have Largy, we have main stairs, we have all this control, and Myth Esports, while they haven't been aggressive, I haven't been seeing very common, I'll say, flanks from them. There have definitely been flanks, but not as common as normally these aggressive players would bring. Now we are down to a 4v4, though we're not looking too good on their HP, and Heaven looking very good with his KD, taking out Black Wolf, making it a bit better for Myth Esports. You know, they decided to kind of let it drag along. They want to get that match point, but they want to get it at the very last second it's possible.
Now, we've created a lot of pressure points on the side of Myth Esports. There's one pressure point we've kind of are missing. The main bridge might be open, but if nobody's playing it, it's just a little bit of an open spot. With another person who's now going to fall, and the second one being injured, the trade does come through, but a 2v2 just going to position B Esports in a tough spot, leaving his teammate now in a 1v2 scenario. His side has been completely taken, but there's 40 seconds left with information from the bulletproof, but the flashbangs are now coming through. Still 2 more to go. They're being popped and thrown everywhere. We are right next to him. The Deagle's being taken out. But it is Myth Esports at the end of this round who's gonna take the match point. And they could walk away with a cheeky next win here. And as I said, CCTV is having a rough time for the defenders. Looking at Myth Esports, they've played CCTV once, lost it. Looking at B Esports, they've played CCTV and lost it as well. So maybe for this round, we should not be going to the side of CCTV. And B Esports, they do decide now to go to gym and bedroom. Now, is that really the play before Bob? Do you think this is the play to go to gym and bedroom, or do you think they could replay it and play the odds?
I would definitely go to the gym. I mean, CC right now is brutal. Poor Azami, I mean, she saw her life flash before her eyes, literally, and she just got punched at the end. That goal was respectable, but it doesn't matter since you're playing for the bounty, not for the style points. And match point, they can win this, and we already see, oh god. Oh, we see 3 hard breaches. Where's the thermite? I'm just waiting to be short by them. Maybe we get a bit of a change of pace, but Maverick has been doing wonders for them up until now. Now, I feel like consistency has been a lot better with B Esports when it comes to CC, or not CC, Gym and Master Bedroom. They've been performing quite well on it. They've been able to push back, and they've been getting these shrieks. Now, this is where they've been most prompt to kind of get a triple kill out of complete nowhere. And, I mean, with all of that in mind, they've definitely been able to kind of execute their rounds and keep the enemies from executing too well from distance. Now, it's a 6-5 B Esports. They gotta take this head back. CC with everything that's on the enemy team, with all the hard breaches that Myth has been bringing along. I mean, last time they brought hard, like 2 rounds in a row, they brought 4 hard breaches. That's insane. You're not going to be defending CC, which is very hard to reach defiable or
Ooh.
dependent. And another thing, Kevin just started off opening kill onto Black Wolf. Oh, not only that, but it's going to be a C4 dropping out. That's going to be Gyna's getting one on Kevin. A bit of a trade. Black Wolf isn't going to be going down for nothing, but one thing also going down will be the main wall from the side of Jacuzzi.
This is why I mean the teamwork, open up the Maverick breach and then getting a kill, but the C4 is deadly. It did take out the player with the lowest HP, as we saw having around 12 HP left. It's fine. He's done his work. He's gotten a kill. He has been traded out. He's waking in strip just for this player as he finds one potentially. Could be getting a few more, but he needs to be careful because he can be pinched from both sides. The information is there. We know there's still one player in strip, but he's fighting it, and it's not gonna be him as Myth Esports find another kill on the board. And that's the roamer gone, and that is one of the most important roamers gone, because Solis could have been dreadful for the plant. If there would have been a plant going on, she could have just denied it by playing down below. We still have a C4 from the bandit, from MD, who could deny that. That's just theoretically speaking in the future. Now Solis gone from the board is putting Myth Esports in a really good position.
A very good position, but the one problem with Myth right now is they haven't taken much ground at all. I mean, they've gotten this main breach, but they haven't pushed into construction. They haven't gotten Logi. They've only taken the first floor and the second floor main breach on the side of, Church. Now, this is getting very close. We do have a ping on the player, and we do see some wallbangs almost coming out, but MD just seeing the future, making that one kill. Galen is joining along, making it a 1v3 situation. Now it's Choco alone in this situation, and with that, Galen is just an absolute show of the round. Will be there to finish the job. MPX in hand, unstoppable force, and with that, B Sports manages to get their 6th round, evening it out just yet again, and going into overtime. Now, Myth, they definitely had a rough round. The way they started, I mean, going for a non-observed first floor take, Sola's getting that very good pick, just kind of making it a 3v3 even when she's taken out, and also them just focusing on one main breach, all 5 of them basically, was a very rash decision. Now, I do love how DM, some picks were coming out on the Tubarao just standing still in gym, but even when they tried to go for that floor bang, I don't know where DM even pulled out of. I mean, he just somehow predicted it or was just going for a stroll, whatever it was. It worked out in B Sports' favor, and now they're on Church.
We're back downstairs as B Esports are now starting on the defensive side, potentially putting themselves in a good position. You start on the defense. We've now had the swap. 4 rounds each have been won by the teams when it comes to the defense, so the attack is definitely a weaker spot. Having 2 sides only needing to play here in order to take a victory when it comes to the defensive side, leaving they don't have to play cash, they don't have to play CCTV. Good thing for the side of B Esports, but with B Esports, that is where the problem comes in. Because they are on the attack and they need this win, and yet so far not a single round on the basement spot has been won by the attackers, and the statistics are just not helping the people right now in this position.
Not helping out at all. We see a bit more of a comeback when it comes to the side of Ram. That verticality is absolutely brutal. Now, Buck, I can respect Buck players. When they go for that verticality, it's definitely useful. But Ram is that much better when it comes to situations. She can multitask. She can throw that drone and start watching flanks, go on her own drone, whatever it may be. Ram is definitely more suited for these bigger and larger scale of verticality plays and definitely clearing out the area. But with that, they still need to actually expand off of it. Maybe get an opening kill Myth right now. That's what they need, because Deimos right now, that's the kind of operator he brings. That's the kind of situation we want. He has that intel, but he can definitely, through verticality, even through those, I'll say shootable through surfaces, could go for those wallbangs. Now, it could be returned to him, but again, he can relay that information to his teammates all the way down to a kill. Now, as we're going straight to the end gate, breach hatches are getting open. Not very successfully, missing all of the Cades, as MD is the mastermind behind it all.
Masterminded the Moto hedge. Now that is going to stay closed. And also the position he's playing in, it is untouchable now. Hedge is gonna stay close. Hibana's gonna have to open up the kitchen hedge, forcing Myth Esports now kind of on a kitchen take. Now, where is the problem here? Especially now is he pushing down dirt. Smoke is the dreadful enemy, but the close range shotgun from Dom is gonna take him out. So those are 3 toxic babe canisters gone, but also the control of dirt. So the kitchen hedge needs to be open, verticality can start, and then we are good and set it for an Arsenal take. Taking out this one key player in dirt actually positioned Myth Esports to a potential round win here.
Potential round win indeed. They're getting pressure from everywhere. Dilly, kind of switching it up down to a 5v3, taking one man off the board. But Sol is still playing very heavily in blue. Gallon is joining the club, getting a double kill for himself onto Heavenly and Orange. Now it's going to be Dom onto another one. He has the revolver in hand. It's the Wild West. He's pretty faster than any man could. Chris joining him along the way. That's going to be a double kill from himself. And now it's empty. He gets taken out by Deli. The bearing 9 in hand. We're down to the 5 seconds. And almost misses his shot, but connects at the very last second as Deli will be taking the win. And also the 7th round for the side of Myth Esports, which is definitely, again, we're at that match point situation. We're getting, my toes are tingling, my spider senses, they're just absolutely going wild as of current, because Myth Esports, they're 1 round away from winning, We said earlier, they want to delay that match point. They want to make it as close as they possibly can, just to kind of, put that cherry on top. But they are going for it. They are definitely going for it. But, B has been kind of delivering that end game sting throughout matches quite consistently. Also, that triple kill coming out from nowhere again. It was just all of a sudden, double kill for that DMR on the Rooney and 1 for the side of blue on the generator coming in from the drop on from Hatch. It just happened instantly. And when they get 1 kill, they chain it up with another and another. That's what they've been consistent with, but they don't seem to be able to follow it through. And even with that man advantage, they get refragged to complete hell.
Now, the Esports is now defending, which puts B in a really, really tough spot. They've now lost the defense. I was just talking about it. The basement spot has always been won by the defensive side. By taking out the smoke player in dirt, yes, it was chaotic at the end, going all the way down to a 1v1. Yes, it was chaotic. But taking out a key player like Smoke, because we weren't able to open up the church hedge and then take him out, that just kind of set the success for that round. And now we're gonna have this whole repeat on this side. We know how Myth Esports has been defending the side from the 2 rounds where I've been spectating. To Baroon, Kaid. Hedges are gonna stay close. Talking about Kaid, he's gone. That's a C4, that's Gadget. But the right out, he's not gonna help. He's not gonna find anyone. Potentially even positioning Myth Esports in even a dangerous spot. But as we know, B, and I think you can agree here, Pufo, their attacks are very, very slow.
True. They are very slow. They delay things, they don't use gadgets, or at least they kind of preserve some operators for gadgets like Nomad. We haven't been seeing Mid bring along that Nomad as much because they don't rely off of flanks. They don't expect B to flank, they don't expect them to go for any plays. And even if they do, they have a Claymore, maybe a drone from the dead players. But B Esports, they reserve these spots. They reserve these impact TMPs, maybe switch out the Thatcher, maybe switch out like a 2nd or 3rd Hard Breacher. They're using as much of their picks to just kind of have this overall pressure on the gadgets. Now, with that, the pressure is going to be getting released a bit more off of the side of Myth Esports, or actually for B Esports. They're going to be getting their gallons taken out. Choco was taken out by him, and what a beautiful shot onto Zundi.
That was a shot and a half.
He's not going to be allowing it. That man advantage is gone. He's down for Myth Esports, but just a tiny bit of a second. But Sunzi, he's not letting it happen. He's not going down without a fight, and he manages to take out Generate Possession. They now have a lot of pressure onto the hatches, onto the stairs, onto blue, onto the general side of it, but and we have no defender actually playing there, so that is very great. Just in general possession they have. I mean, they kind of pushed him out back into their side, turtling him out, and we do see some breaches going out. That Tubarao being placed to good use. Deli using that EMPX as good as he can, taking out MD, making it a 3v3. You know, Sunzi, maybe he got that nasty one tap, but they're not gonna let him get away with it.
Exactly, in the 3v3 last, soon 45 seconds left. We do find another kill, but favoring the attack. It's a second one on top. It's all up to heaven here as he does find one, but there's 2 more to go. Information is lacking. We have the Valkyrie cameras who could provide a little bit of info here, but as we can see, everyone is watching heaven here. And there's 1v2, but a shot across is B. And Chris finds this kill, and that means we're going all the way to 15 rounds, and you come at me and say that Clubhouse is a boring map. I'm gonna show you this match over and over again until I brainwash you to think that Clubhouse is one of the best maps.
Look, I didn't say it was boring. I said it was repetitive. I said it was repetitive. I'm gonna stand on my word. I'm standing on business right now. I would much rather sleep. English is difficult. I would, pick bank over it because it isn't that common. It's very rare to see maps like Skyscraper,
protect your
Nighthaven,
bombs being defended by
Bank,
attackers.
all of those, bigger maps that aren't very common. They're rare to see. It's very reasonable because the safe pick, of course, is Clubhouse. Everyone knows Clubhouse. If you don't, you're not a Siege player. You're probably mixed up games or something. But whatever it is, Clubhouse is something that really depends off of team chemistry and how you can counteract each other's plays. So with that in mind, it's a safe option, especially if you're confident in the team fights and how your team chemistry works all around. And with that, I mean, Myth and B Esports, they're very close. They are actually like a rival-ish team, I would say, especially because this is like the 3rd time B has managed to even out the score with their own little special attacks they've been having, their own little pushes, their own little chains, whatever you call them. This energy they've been bringing along is absolutely great. Myth Esports, good start. They also had a very good first half. But B Esports is definitely there when it comes to the execute, when it comes to the end. They're definitely ones that can kind of keep up with it. So it's really just who can do better. Is it going to be Myth doing way better at the start, or is it going to be me absolutely dominating it towards the end?
We're gonna have to find out this round because it is the last round at the end of this best of 1. The winner's gonna walk away with a few points. That's what we want here, but we find ourselves from the side of B yet again on the basement spot. Now, I kind of jinxed it when I said that the basement spot needs to be won by the attackers 3 rounds ago. I kind of jinxed myself with that and jinxed the entire game because now we had 2 rounds being won by the attack on the basement spot, and yet B decides to go back downstairs because they think they're more likely to win this side. As we can see, not too much adaptation when it comes on the operator lineup. They're kind of playing the same thing and gonna play it down the same way. Smoke again in dirt, and then Smoke, as mentioned before, a very, very key operator. Because the Kaid on the other side is tricking the motor hatch, making sure that cannot be breached. And it's only 2 EMPs. We do have the Maverick coming through from Myth Esports, so the hatch is going to be open anyway, but if the C4 is being popped and ripped at the perfect time, Maverick could lose his life in the process, because the control is already established, and it's already happening.
It's already happening. Some shots being fired at MD. I was kind of having a bit of a thought in the back of my mind that maybe he was going to start the gunfire back towards the Maverick. Maybe taking him out was going to actually allow him to play a bit more in bar. But with that, MD is not only going to be able to not take out the Maverick, Heaven's going to be taking out MD. Deli's going to be joining along the way, making that a 5v3. Getting that early man advantage again. Myth, very good start. They're the ones who started off. They're the ones who do it. And they're the ones who hopefully continue it through. Alresh joining the hype train. Chris is off the board. That was even a very good flank rush on the side of Myth Esports. Now the drops are going to start just raining down. I mean, everyone's just going to collapse on Zunzi and Gallis. Right now, they're in a complete pitch. They're in a crossfire across anywhere they move. Going into church, he's going to be backing off a bit, switching position, looking for that drop. Misses it just by a bit. He does manage to spot it, but gets 1 kill. Drop slam onto 7 HP, gets taken out by Jogo. That's going to be a 4v1 situation, and always finishing it off and making sure that Middle will be taking this honey away from the bees. And just like like that, the nest was taken out, and the 1 is finished. With that, Diana, what's your opinion on the Super match? This was really fun.
Closer than expected, closer than I believe both of the teams hoped. I think both the teams hoped to just walk away with a clean 7-something, but pushing it all the way to 15 rounds to the maximum that was possible. Absolutely wonderful. And then just walk away with that big of a dominance round. Yet again, it could have been close. It was a basement spot. There was adaptations going on, but it does seem like that B just wasn't today in the right spot. When we looked at the scoreline, when we looked at the performance from each players, the kills on the side of Myth Esports were a little bit more even spread. Just a little bit. We had 2 players with 15 kills. Just gonna read it out. Had 2 players with 9 kills, 1 player with 6 kills. And then we look at the sides from B, 2 players with 15, 2 players with 10 or 11 kills or above, and then 1 player with 3 kills. So there, even that lack, and then positioning one of the players who had so much trouble coming on the map on a very important position just makes it very difficult.
Yeah, but that was it. That was a B1. Sadly, B doesn't get a second chance. And thankfully, we won't be seeing another map like Oregon or anything, you know, a bit more boring. But we're going to be finishing it off for today. Myth managed to get those points for themselves, swoop it off the floor, take it home, whatever you may call it. And that's going to be it for today. We're going to be again, hopefully, if everything is correct and, you know, if everything works out with whatever production happens in the background, that's not up to me. Tomorrow. We should be seeing you up tomorrow. And with that, Diana, thank you so much for casting with, of course, me. And thank you for the background, Epsilon, everyone in the background working very hard to make this interesting as much as they can. And with that, we'll be seeing you tomorrow. And with that, of course, saying it for the final time, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.
We can dance